I'm always like thinking of artsy stuff, and then let me tell you about something. So I have a mental illness called bipolar 1, which it's not my fault really. I had a lot of stress as a child, and I think when I went away to college and everything, and the divorce of my parents and my eating disorder, my brain just went crazy. And I had delusional thinking and mania, and it just never got back right completely. So I've taken medicine, and so the stigma of it's tough. I mean, we do have some people with mental illness that are dangerous, just like we have black men that are dangerous, and then most black men are not. Most are good. But the situation is that my medication is good, and I'm an artist, and it doesn't matter where I am I'm an artist no matter where I go. But that doesn't necessarily mean I can punch the time clock. But recently we've gotten a better medication for me. I went to a specialized doctor that actually has had a lot of experience in prisons and people with very serious cases, and he found a medication that makes it better for me. And so I've been able to maintain a part-time job for over a year now at the ABC store, which I'm thrilled. And the people are nice, and for the first time probably almost in my life, I've had success at that kind of part-time work and building relationships that way. It's lovely. I have no complaints. But the system, let me explain this. I got a mental illness when I was very young, my early 20s. And I only put a certain amount of points in the system in Social Security, so they gave me the lowest tier of money because of that, which doesn't benefit people with mental illness. It happens a lot to people with mental illness. They get sick in their 20s, and then they can't work, and then they have no money because Social Security does not provide for mentally ill people in the same way it does blind people. And physically disabled people, a lot of times it happens later in life, and then you built your points up. So I'm trying to live on $800 a month after my divorce broke up, my alimony. And I'm a little nervous about that. You can imagine that might be a little stressful, especially then you got to tell people you're bipolar. And if you tell people you're bipolar, they're like, no, I don't think, I'm sorry, the room's been taken. But then they have a work program that across the board, everyone with any kind of Social Security disability can work part-time hours and collect up to $1,300 a month, which sounds like a lot of money. And it would be if my Social Security check was $2,500, like some people's is. But because of the mental illness that I have, and it struck so young, I cannot make more money. Let's see, how much is that? 800 plus 8, say $2,000 a month. I have to pay rent. They don't have housing for people with disabilities. I mean, you maybe can get in project housing for poor people. Sometimes that's dangerous. It can be very stressful. So I get paid $15 an hour, and I work 20 hours a week. And I've written my congressman. I said, look, I don't think I could handle the responsibility of a full-time job, being a manager and making $60,000 a year. I wish I could. But I could work some more part-time hours, and then if I'm not doing so well, they can cut me back without losing my job. They'll work with me, because I didn't take on that huge amount of responsibility of being a supervisor or manager, which is stressful anyway. And they don't do that. So if they did, and say I made, say $2,000 a month, and then I made $2,800 a month, on the months that I could qualify to get an apartment. And what about a car? How am I supposed to get a car to go to work? It's a terrible, terrible system. Especially for the mentally ill, and I think that's the main thing, is the mentally ill people. We need to be able to work part-time to give ourselves a place to live and something to strive for, that it's possible to have a car and a job, and if you're on good medication and you're doing well. And then, if you do that for 6 months or a year and you're actually making it, maybe you could go into a full-time position. I'm doubtful about mine. I've just been struggling with it for so long. But I do want to make enough money to not be homeless and to not have transportation to get to work and things like that. It's just very stressful. It's a bad, bad system. Thank you.